Hello, my dear listeners. Welcome to the Healing Station. Here at the Healing Station, we receive our healing for physical sickness, we receive our healing for financial problems, we receive our healing for emotional problems, we receive our healing for psychological problems, and for mental problems. God begins to do a new thing in our lives, healing us, redeeming us, and comforting us. He says, I'm he that comforteth you, Isaiah 51. And we become precious in his sight, Isaiah 43. He gives us Egypt for ransom and Ethiopia and Seba for us. Today we're talking about vessels, and we are saying in 2 Kings chapter 4, this woman cries with a great cry. She cries with a great cry because her husband has died. Her husband was a man of God, and she is now in debt. The man left them in debt. The husband left them in debt, and now the debtors have come to seize her sons and to turn them into bondsmen. To seize the sons and turn them into bondsmen. And she's crying with a great cry. And the prophet Elisha says, what is this that you have in your house? And she says, I have a pot of nothing except a pot of oil. I have nothing except a pot of oil. And Elisha says, go borrow vessels, don't borrow a few. Go borrow vessels, don't borrow a few. Go borrow vessels, don't borrow a few. So she borrows vessels and she begins to pour the oil into the vessels. She shuts the door, and then together with her son, they begin to pour the vessels into the they begin to pour the oil into the vessels. They pour and pour until when she lifts up her eyes and asks, is there another vessel? And the son says, no, the vessels are finished. So she goes back to the man of God for further instructions, and the man of God says, sell the oil, pay your debts, and then live on the rest. So she goes, sells the oil, pays the debts, and she lives on the rest. Excuse me. So this situation of poverty and scarcity has been dealt with once and for all. She's not going to be poor again. She's not going to be in debt again. This is over. She is going to have money for her and for her children for the rest of their lives. Out of the pot of oil, numerous vessels of oil have come forth, and now this woman is fully invested for the rest of her life. For herself and for her children, they are not going to lack anymore. We are talking about vessels. And then we come to Second Samuel, chapter 8, verse 10. And King David has defeated Hadadeser, has smitten Hadadeser. And because of that, Toi sends Joram his son to King David to bring him, to salute him, and to bring him vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and vessels of brass. To salute him and to bring him vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and vessels of brass. This is to say thank you, to show, to express gratitude, because Hadadeser has been a very big enemy for Toi for the longest time. So Toi sends Joram his son to King David to bring to him vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and vessels of brass. In Esther, the book of Esther, chapter 1, we find King Ahaeserus, a generous king. King Ahaeserus reigns over 127 provinces, and his empire is a vast empire ranging all the way from Ethiopia all the way to India, covering maybe even half the earth. And then he holds a feast of 180 days. During this feast, he invites the prince of the Persia and all the princes and all the nobles and all the heads of the provinces to come and see his numerous wealth, to see his vast empire, to see his wealth, to see his glorious majesty. After the 180 days have expired, he holds a feast, a 7 days feast, where wine is served in golden vessels, and wine is served in golden vessels to both the great and small, to all the people that have gathered in Shushan the palace. All these things are happening on the third year of his reign. This feast is happening on the third year of his reign. And the instructions the officers have is that they will serve wine in royal vessels, in golden vessels, royal wine served to all the people, great and small, at Shushan the palace, until everyone eats, everyone drinks to their heart's content, to every man's measure. The law is that to every man's measure. The law is that every man is going to consume as much wine as they want. And they're consuming wine from golden vessels. And the golden vessels are diverse one from the other. We're talking about golden vessels. And we are told that even the beds are of gold and silver. The palace is a beautiful palace, and both the great and small, and all the people gathered at Shushan the palace are taking wine in golden vessels, taking wine in golden vessels, and the golden vessels are unique one from the other, unique one from the other. There is not one vessel that looks like the other. All the golden vessels are of different designs, different shapes, different sizes. We are talking about a generous king who says, let the people take as much wine as they can. And his heart is merry with wine, and he commands. His heart is merry with wine, and he commands. Then we come to 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 21 to verse 20 and 21. St. Paul is talking about vessels, and he's saying that in the house we have vessels of gold, vessels of silver, vessels of wood, and vessels of clay. We have vessels reserved only for special occasions. We have vessels that are used only when the guests have come for special occasions. And then we have vessels that are used every day, common vessels. We have special vessels, then we have common vessels. And then he says, ourselves, we are vessels of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. We are vessels of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Moses was a vessel of honor. He was a vessel of honor. God commissioned him to bring the people out of the land of Egypt, to bring the people out of the land of captivity, to bring the people out of the land of affliction. Moses was a vessel of honor. The Shunammite woman was a vessel of honor. The Shunammite woman, she constrained the prophet Elisha to eat bread. Every time Elisha came to Shunem, she would constrain him to eat bread. And then at some point, she built for him a little chamber and furnished it with a candlestick and with a bed and with a stool and with a table. Enough for the man of God to be comfortable, so that every time when the man of God came to Shunem, he would rest in there. He would rest in the little chamber, in the upper chamber. She was a vessel of honor. The widow of Zarephath was a vessel of honor. 2 Kings 17, a vessel of honor. All she did was to sustain the man of God, Prophet Elijah, during the time of famine. Every day to prepare bread, every day to prepare bread for the man of God, first for the man of God, then for herself and her household. And in the process, she did not die of famine. She lived, and her family, they lived, because her work was to sustain Elijah the prophet during the times of famine. She was a vessel of honor. We are also vessels of honor. In Matthew 25, Jesus says, I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me water. I was naked, you clothed me. I was sick, you visited me. I was in prison, and you visited me. And they ask, when is this that we visited you? When is this that we clothed you? And he says, when you do it to the least of the members, you've done it to me. So today, as vessels of honor, what is this that we are supposed to do as vessels of honor? We are supposed to identify a person who needs to be clothed, who needs to be fed, who is thirsty, who is sick, who is in prison, so that we can visit them. And when we do these things, we are doing them for God. We are doing them for God. We are vessels of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use. So I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, you gave me water. I was naked, you clothed me. I was sick and in prison, and you visited me. We are vessels of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. So all we need to do is identify this person who's sick to visit, who's in prison to visit, who's naked to clothe, who's hungry to feed, and who is thirsty, so that we give them water. And then we become vessels of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Thank you very much. Kindly share, subscribe, like, comment, and then go ahead to be a vessel of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Until we meet again at the healing station, continue to be that vessel of honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. Thank you very much.